Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's that time of week where 22 people somewhere out there in America get shitty fantasy football advice from a sweaty fat comedian. And that's what we're doing today, but it's not just one comedian today. We have three comedians. Well, two actively participating and one that's Jerry Garcia there in the back. And we're all part of a comedian. When I talk about my comedians league, I'm talking about these jokers right here.
We are part of the Funny League, founded in 2012.
And this is Manny Maldonado.
And that's Jerry Garcia. And actually, we're actually three of the people that have actually won a title.
That's right. That's right.
We're legit. We're champions.
3 out of the 5 that have been awarded. Or
I think we got 3 out of 6 or something
3
like
out
that.
of 6, something like that. Yeah. My math's not great. But that's so. But he won. So this has been obviously a wild season. We had a big game just this last week playing each other, and I should have won. Fuck you, Brett Hundley, you piece of shit. All I needed, literally, listen to this. All I needed was Jordy Nelson to catch one more pass for at least 1 yard. That's it. And that cocksucker couldn't get it.
It was the longest fourth quarter that I had experienced because when you're on the other side rooting against, when you're playing against your opponent and you're just like, oh my God. And there were some targets. I believe he got 3 targets in the fourth and a couple more over his head.
No, I don't think he got any targets in the fourth.
No, yeah, because that's when I texted, did he catch that? But it was out of bounds.
Right.
So it was like 2 targets. So Jordy Nelson got 2 targets in the fourth. And one of the balls that he did catch was out of bounds. And I thought he caught it. So I texted Greg and I was like, did he catch it? Oh, no, he didn't. Yes. Brett,
right.
It was a great victory. It was a tough game. I won by 1 point.
And here's the thing, though. Here's the shitty part about it. Okay, he had Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
And Leonard Fournette was declared inactive. So I thought I was being all sneaky by going on and grabbing Chris Ivory so he couldn't get it. Right? And who'd you want to play?
As far as my running backs this week was Jordan Stewart, who had
negative 1.5.
No, negative 1.5. He had not 1 but 2 fumbles. I was like, okay.
This motherfucker.
So I just had him and McCaffrey, and I just rolled the dice, and he was predicted to win. I guess his percentage to win was, I want to say 70% going in on Monday, and I only had a 30% chance to win on Monday because of the Jordy Nelson factor. Because even if you don't have a good quarterback, you figure you give him the rock at least 4 times. He got it 3 times.
He got 3.
Yeah, 3 catches.
And you're looking at it, and I'm like, okay, 1 pass in 1 quarter. I just need 1, and he's the number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
He's a fucking normal stud.
Yeah.
So you're like, come on, of course he's gonna get at least 1. So, but I thought that was one of those times. You ever feel like I need to stop watching this for it to happen? Like it's not happening because I'm watching.
Because you're watching it. No, I'm a firm believer in that. Those are the fantasy gods sometimes that just mess with your emotions.
Totally. And that's when I like turned that when you're like, did he catch that? And I'm like, no, he didn't fucking catch that. It was so
But to Detroit's defense, Slade was physical as hell.
Slade was committing foul after foul, and I don't know why. And that's why I think he stopped throwing it to him, because it was such an obvious PI. It was such an obvious, and then they didn't call it, and he's like, well, if we're not even going to get the foul, I can't throw him the ball.
Exactly.
Oh,
and I want to say, probably in that game, the person that got the majority of the targets was Devontae, right? Devontae Adams.
Yeah, no, he got tons of targets. He was the stud, sort of like Terrence Williams last week when the Cowboys.
And he was trending, by the way, this week.
11 receptions. Well, yeah, because the reality is Des Bryant's injured. He's playing, but he's playing hurt in his knee and ankle.
And then what's his name got 2 touchdowms too? Was Cole Beasley, right?
Cole Beasley got 2 touchdowns. But Cole, that is
hit or miss.
Yes, you cannot count on that. Week in and week out. He's one of those guys that has that game 1 or 2 times a season.
So he's due for Thanksgiving.
Right.
Pretty
Thanksgiving,
much.
he should have another big one. That's what he does. He has 1 or 2
you're right
of those.
about that.
So it's like his points are 2, 5, 7,
and 18,
17.
19,
Right.
So true.
6, 4, 18. So that's the way it goes with him. So he's not anybody. It's tough. You can't count on him.
I don't know if you just heard it in fantasy news. What's the name just got?
Yeah, my boy Zeke.
Well, we know about Zeke. That's obvious. But I just heard yesterday, what's the name got released by the.
Martellus Bennett, who I
hope somebody gets him.
I fucking drafted you second in 2. I drafted you as my number 1 tight end in 2 leagues. I really thought he was the new Jermichael Finley.
I think everybody did.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be just a great match, and then Aaron Rodgers got hurt. because I thought they were just starting to find it.
Little
And then,
cohesiveness.
just he was starting to see the targets. They're starting to get on the same page.
Yeah.
And I held on to him because I really felt like he would at some point.
And he just
get
came off
in rhythm with him.
he came off the Super Bowl
You know,
championship as well, right?
So I mean, the guy, I thought it was a great place for him to be with Aaron Rodgers, and then Rodgers goes down, and that was it for Martellus Bennett.
And you talk about a team just being deflated after their main stud goes down, and that's what it is about this league. If your beast goes down,
dude,
it's hard, especially
especially
in the quarterback
in a 12-team league,
Yeah.
it gets real thin.
oh yeah,
It gets real thin, man. So it can be tough. So let's see what the standings are right now. The standings are so the main guy, Sebastian, he actually founded the league. He's in first place.
Yeah, he is.
But he does this almost every
he's one of the
year.
best regular season. I like to call him the Clayton Kershaw of the league, who's really good. Too soon? Was that too soon?
Too soon.
I feel like he's a great regular season player, but when it comes to the playoffs, he overthinks everything, and he has a lot of great players, great lineup, but sometimes he just doesn't know who to. He just gets flustered in big games. And it'll happen again. He's not gonna win. We're calling it. We're calling shots already because he will mess up when it counts the most. It's just the way it is.
That's the way.
But he's killing it. He's so far. I believe he's 7-2.
Yeah, I mean the guy he owns the regular season every year, first or second place the whole season, and then eats a dick right out of the box.
Was it you a couple years ago that you started out 6-0 too? Remember, or you went on like some crazy winning streak too, and then you lost a couple.
No, that's right. Because
Yeah, you were like 8-1 off the bat or something.
Yeah,
remember, right?
I had
Like
a hot team.
You had a hot team.
And then they stumbled at the goal line. They fell apart right at the wrong time. That's what fucked me last week too. Was Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins was like 30 points, 31 points, and then 8 and 5 or something. It was.
And I would have thought too. He would have got some yardage too because of Earl Thomas being out.
Yeah.
Maybe exploit that middle, but this is what's cool about fantasy. In our league, we are the most rudest.
We're
the kind of team that we text. Basically, everybody's a comedian except for like one of our George and Rod. Still Rod, yeah. Those are the only two guys that are non-comedians, but everybody else is comics. And we just go in. We go in on family members. We just go in jugular, but it's all for fun.
Yeah.
But that's what we do. We haze each other during the year, but we never do goofy stuff.
And let me tell you something. Manny's the easiest to get going.
Oh, me too.
You just say anything, and he's like
anything could get under my skin, only because I allow it to, because I know everybody knows how sensitive I am. But it's a good sensitive.
It is fun. So looking at this, let's see. Funny how that's your team, isn't it, Jerry?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're in 5th. I'm in 6th.
So if the playoffs were to start today,
and Turk 182 is in 4th.
Us three would make the playoffs.
Yeah, we're 4, 5, 6 right now.
Yeah, we're 4, 5, 6. That's kind of
cool.
We're all here. 4, 5, 6.
And that's because we evened up because you beat me. If I beat you, I
we would have been flip flop. I would have been 6 and you would have been 4.
Yep.
So the league is very competitive now.
Fuck you, Kirk Cousins.
So here's the thing. We're at that now. It's kind of where you separate the men from the boys. We got the last 3 weeks of the season, right? Regular season to go. So every single move that we make is strategic now, and it goes for everybody out there. You know how it is.
And to that point,
yeah.
I've got the Seattle defense,
and
tonight, right? And they are going against Arizona, who has a backup quarterback who's obviously going to just try and run the ball with Adrian Peterson, which I also own Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. And
as somebody that owns Adrian Peterson, I mean, I knew something like this was going to happen, and that's why I held on to him, because I knew someone was going to make a trade, he was going to get some, but 37 rushes.
I think that's the most carries he's had
ever in his career.
And it's been
a Hall of Fame career. I'm like, they're burning the tread off his tires at a remarkable rate.
Well, remember, there was a couple of games when he was on the Saints, he only had like 1 or 2 carries. So they're made up for pretty much all that one game.
Boy,
37 carries.
37.
He's 1 touchdown away from being the 9th player to score 100 touchdowns. So he might be hungry tonight. It's a home game. You just never know.
See, so that's the okay. So I have Seattle that I could use in that game, which I'm afraid that he does break 1 or 2 loose on him.
Maybe.
And then, but maybe not. I mean, it's tough to say. It's in Arizona.
Last year's game was 6-3, final 6-6 tie. That was
God damn.
So you know,
awful,
in Arizona.
Awful.
So
yeah.
Who knows?
And then, but it's Stanton, so it could wind up being 9-0.
It is Stanton, but to Stanton's defense, he's won 4 straight regular starts. He's 9-5 in his last whatever starts that is. So they kind of play decent with him. He's not that bad, I guess. But who knows? I mean, what's
9-5 and whatever that means?
I don't know.
9-5.
9-5.
14? Is that 14?
So the last 14 starts, he's 9-5, and he's won 4 straight starts.
Right.
So it's kind of weird. He's one of those hit or miss guys too.
Yeah.
He would be what is the other?
Well,
or
that's the
Casey
thing.
Keenum.
He wins.
He's like their Casey Keenum.
They're like, listen, you just hand Adrian the ball. That's clearly what
Yeah.
they've decided to do.
Mhm.
They're like, just hand Adrian the ball, and that works.
It's working.
So, but that's it. So I picked up. Oh no, I think I dropped that defense. I also have Pittsburgh,
Okay.
who's going up against Indianapolis. In Indianapolis, and Pittsburgh's coming off a bye week, so they should be very rested. Indianapolis is giving up the most points to defenses this year, but you look at the Patriots' track record this year, and it's a lot of 8s, 9s, 10s, and Seattle's been on the track of 15, 17, 18.
They got you 18 points last week.
Yeah, so I feel like
Strong.
track wise, trending wise, I decided to stick with them.
I would have done the same thing. I mean, look, they didn't let you down. I mean, like I said, you lost by 1 point. It's not their fault. The defense has been getting it in. I want to say didn't they get a safety or something last week? Oh no, that was the Redskins that got a safety. So what? They got a bunch of sacks last week. It's an interception.
Yeah, no, they did great.
Hey.
No, they did get a safety.
Okay.
Seattle's first 2 points were a safety.
Well, there you go. The Legion of Boom is no joke still. Even if Earl Thomas is out, you still got Cam Chancellor.
Yeah.
They say Richard Sherman might be out tonight, but there's a good chance he might play too. So who knows? I would stick with the defense no matter what.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Sometimes that's the thing about this. It's easy to outcoach yourself.
It is
Because the simple rule is play your studs. You got a stud player, play your stud. But then sometimes, I mean, you look at these matchups.
Mhm.
Well, that was one of the other decisions I made last week that didn't work out was I took out Alshon Jeffrey against Denver,
and he went bananas.
and he ended up having 2 touchdowns. And that's on me. Because it was against Denver, Aqib Talib, Alshon
A
Jeffrey.
no-fly zone allegedly.
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Let's talk
Everybody's
about
for it.
this for 1
Yeah,
second
go ahead.
because I think there's a couple of teams
Mhm.
where the offense is so bad,
The
the
defense
great
picked up.
defenses have quit.
I agree. I would say Denver is in that
Denver,
class.
I would
Denver.
also say the Giants.
The Giants for sure.
Okay. Also Green Bay.
Green Bay too.
You saw their defense totally quit last
I
week
agree.
and let them just run over.
You know what threw me off last week? I had a top 5 defense playing against the Jets last week, and they made a nice thing,
well,
1 point.
Dude,
But the Jets stepped up. They had 8 sacks. I didn't see that coming.
dude, the Jets.
8
You
sacks
got a Jets.
They
You got to take this
stepped
team seriously.
on defense, and I did not see that coming.
Dude, they're on a streak, and and all of a sudden Matt Forte, and I said that a couple of weeks ago on my podcast that Matt Forte started to have real value.
Yeah, no, he still does.
And now not value. He's having some pretty hot games.
Do you think probably the emergence of maybe Bilal Powell kind of made him step his own game up?
No, I think it's really more about McCown actually becoming playing well.
I never thought I'd say it. McCown's playing decent.
He is. Him and Jared Goff. You're like, what? I never would have said either of those two.
A quick question for you. How many interceptions, or what's the over-under on the interceptions this week when Ryan Fitzpatrick goes against his former team, the Jets?
Oh, I don't know, man. I mean, see,
He could throw 4 touchdowns, but also could throw 5 interceptions.
Exactly, it's hard to say, but I would love to see him come in there and have a great game. But he doesn't have Mike Evans,
He doesn't have Mike Evans.
so it's going to be a lot of
Deshaun Jackson.
Well, see, it can't be a
I have
lot of
Bray
Deshaun
too.
Jackson because Deshaun Jackson doesn't run good routes.
Yeah, I agree.
He just That's it. Him and Mike Wallace, they do one thing. They run down the
go
field
route.
fast.
Go
That's it. Either straight or to the post. That's it. And so you can't really increase their volume.
You know what's funny? You're talking about Bray. Part of me wants to start him, and part of me doesn't because I have Bray and I also have Vernon Davis. And Vernon Davis did nice for me last week.
Vernon Davis. I
Vernon
like
Davis
Vernon
actually-
Davis a
I like
lot.
Vernon
I
Davis
like
a lot.
Vernon Davis a lot.
I think I'm
he's
gonna
very
stick with him
dependable.
starting this week.
Jordan Reed, I don't even know he's going to start.
No, Jordan Reed's always teamed up every year.
Always. People who draft him early, I'm like, you're not going to get a full
I
season.
drafted
Not even
him.
close.
I drafted him 5th this year,
Yeah.
and it's still to me a little too high because he's so injury prone, like you said.
Dude, he is.
He
I mean,
just-
how
he's
many
just a
games has he actually been in?
I think it's only been in 1 or 2.
Yes, that's
And this is week 10 already.
That's so bad. That's so bad. Okay, so really quickly, let's roll through the games and just let's see who you think are the
breakdowns.
players to
Watch
have
out.
there. Let's just go ahead and start right out with
Mhm.
my boys, Dallas Cowboys. Now they're at Atlanta.
At
Although
Atlanta,
Atlanta,
okay.
I mean, what are they? They're 4-4. We're 5-3. I mean, but Dallas needs to stay on the winning side of the ball
Mhm.
because of the fact that
But
the
the
Philadelphia
suspension.
Eagles keep fucking steamrolling.
That it's funny because the guy we we're talking about, Sebastian, that's his.
Oh,
team
that's
too.
no, totally.
And they're doing a regular season too as well.
I know. I feel like
They're both in cahoots.
If
on
they
this.
both win this year, I'll quit football.
Yeah, me too. You got me on video saying this. I might have to quit too. It'll be too much overkill. As far as the key players,
give him that much cachet.
Who's the? I mean, I know you know your team better than I know your team, but so your starting running back will be Alfred Morris.
Alfred Morris will be the starter.
Okay, so
and
he's the guy.
Go ahead.
To pick up it.
Yeah. Most guys have already picked these guys up from last week.
Okay.
And if you were smart, there were a lot of people that are like, oh, he's back every other game. They drop him right away. It's like, it might be next week. Why are you dropping him now?
Keep him in your stash.
Right. So I held on to Darren McFadden.
Okay.
And really, we don't know who's.
And he got activated too.
Yeah,
right?
he's going to be activated. And then they also have this Rod Smith kid, who a lot of people seem to like.
Okay.
And so, to be honest, I think it's a wait and see. Mm-hmm. If you're playing McFadden or if you're playing Alfred Morris, it's because you have a guy on a bye week and you need somebody because we don't know who's going to really.
I'll tell you what. You know what I think would be a good idea for anybody's out there, watching this. You guys maybe take a flyer on that Cowboy defense because the Falcons have averaged 16 to 17 points a game. They're not playing well.
Yeah,
their offense is at a sink. They had 58 yards rushing.
And the Dallas defense has been doing all right.
And the Dallas defense has DeMarcus Lawrence, who has, I think, over 10 or 11 sacks.
Yeah.
The team as a whole has over 30 sacks already. So it's like, if that Dallas defense is floating around there, I wouldn't hesitate on that.
Yeah, man.
Atlanta's feeling the pressure.
Especially if it's, you got a lot of defenses you have to stream.
Yeah.
And
this might be that matchup where the Cowboys, you know what? They might get it in. Look, I feel it's Dak's team, even though Elliott's been, obviously he's a great core of that offense, but Dak has shown me a lot. Dak's here to stay for a while.
I had Brady on bye in my other league, and so I had Dak in that league, and Dak, 33 points.
Yeah,
he's fucking killed it. He's great. He can put the team on his back. He really can.
I'm really, the guy just has the it factor. He can play the game, and just look who benefited last week. Like we were just talking about, the Cole Beasley, and those guys are. Me, I would not get Cole Beasley, but I might take a chance on Terrence Williams if he's out there.
You might. I think it's a good week to do it.
If you guys are out there, and
it'd be a very good. It's going to be a good week.
And he's a legit number 1 or 2 this week.
Yeah, because we know that what's his name is he's struggling.
And he's not in the best health.
Right. That's the thing. He's struggling with the knee. Struggling. I mean, he left for the entire fourth quarter last week. He was on the sideline, and which thanks, Des. But he was having a very good game.
So the next game would be.
So let's look at the Sunday night game, New England versus Denver. I mean,
I got New England's defense.
I can't believe they kept this as the night game because Denver's looking like such garbage.
You were just mentioning earlier. I feel like Denver is one of those teams that just given up.
They've quit.
I think they've lost 4 in a row. They're not looking good at all. Trevor, if you get benched for Brock Osweiler, that should be enough said right there.
I know.
The franchise
I was like, oh my God, Osweiler. And what is this business of not wanting to play Paxton Lynch? He isn't physically ready. Then why would you draft someone who isn't physically ready to play
number
football?
17 pick, but nobody's coming. He was the number 17 pick.
Fucking play him.
Might as well play him.
You're wasting whatever you got.
To see what you have.
Yeah.
So in this game, I like New England by a lot. At least by 15 points.
Although here's my concern, because I'm playing Brady, and I love Brady, I love my sweet.
You think they're going to hand the ball off?
Well, what my fear is that Denver, after getting shellacked 51 to 10 or something, 51 to 3.
And then they got shellacked by the Chargers.
Yeah.
21-0 the other day.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if this isn't the week that we're like, where they're like, guys.
That's pride fucking.
Right. We can't fucking with this, that.
It could be that.
That kind of scares me because I believe that might happen.
It might, but like I said, this is why they say any given Sunday.
Yeah.
And Von Miller's a prideful guy. They got some Pro Bowlers on defense, but the problem is that offense just cannot move the ball.
Right, and the defense gets tired. They're just human.
They're just human.
Keep them on the field the whole time, and they just get tired.
I like New England's game. It's not even close.
I do too, actually. Right. I think Brady's because
Brady's focused, and then they plus.
To me, the only thing worse than angry Brady is rested Brady.
And now he's rested
on a bye. Rested. They had time to fucking analyze. I mean,
Belichick on a bye.
That's what I'm saying. It's something else.
Next game,
Seattle, Arizona. This is tonight.
I feel. I guess we're actually recording this in Vegas. We're both working in Vegas. Greg is working at the Stratosphere. I'm working at the Laugh Factory all week. But I would say, what's the under, Jerry, on that? 41?
Yeah, 41.
Okay, so combined points 41. I think it's going to be less than that. I think it's going to be a defensive struggle. They both have a lot to play for because they're chasing The Rams. You know, I never thought I'd say that. Just the way that sounds. I know, right? The Rams. Just the way that sounds is just still hard to comprehend.
Totally, like, how are the Rams?
They got a coach who's like maybe 15 years old that's
Totally.
leading that team. I got to give kudos to the Rams. But I don't know, man. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen in this game?
Dude, I think they're going to obviously try and run it with Adrian Peterson a lot, and I think Adrian Peterson's going to be stuffed a lot. You know, I think for Adrian to have a good game, he's going to need another 30-plus touches, and I think they're going to do it, and I just hope Adrian survives.
I think it'll be a low-scoring affair.
Yeah,
I like Seattle, like 16-3, something like that.
No, I think it might be
67.
I think it might be a little more lopsided. I think Seattle's going to be able to score on them
Okay.
because of the offensive inability to stay on the field. I think that defense will also slow down, wear down over the course of the game. And Russell Wilson's been playing lights
So we
out.
both like Seattle.
So I like Seattle, but I like them to win big. I think they win 31-7, 31-10.
Okay.
Somewhere in that.
All right. Okay. Well, there goes that spread, Jerry. There goes the over on that.
Where are the rest of the?
Okay. So we got. I believe the next game is.
Here we go. Okay, Cincinnati, Tennessee.
Wow.
In Tennessee, Tennessee's coming off a win. Cincinnati is struggling like a motherfucker.
Cincinnati has AJ Green isn't suspended, but can somebody suspend that the red rocket rifle, whatever?
Dude, no kidding.
Because I think that a change needs to happen like sooner than later.
I feel like they're only sticking with him because he matches their colors. Like they feel it. They do. Like they feel it's destiny.
it's on the program.
Totally. Like it matches.
I agree. I feel like his days are numbered, and so are Marvin Lewis. Obviously,
Yeah, they
That's
haven't been
enough.
able to keep it together.
I don't know what's going on. I love Tennessee in this game.
I think Joe Mixon struggles a lot in that one.
I like
But I think
Tennessee.
Tyler Kroft is the guy that's able to get something done. But Tennessee is very strong against the run.
Mariota should have a good game.
And you know who I like this week? And here's the thing: I'm always afraid to say, but Derrick Henry, because of the fact that DeMarco Murray dinged up his knee last week, I think you're going to see him not be that effective, and them to start to lean on Henry a lot more in the
I
second
have
half.
Henry.
And
A part of me wants to play him, but I don't. They do that running back by committee.
They do, but I
You
feel like
never
this
know.
could be a good week to play him.
He did get a touchdown last week, though.
I mean, the guy, if he ever gets to play a full game,
I agree.
he'll get 134
He'll
yards
get
and
you the
3
20 points.
touchdowns.
He'll get you the 20 points.
I mean, it'll be the guy.
He's a good physical.
Keep it this level of stud in the barn drives me crazy.
He's one of those studs.
They won't let him go. They won't turn him loose. Refuse
So
to
we
do
both like Tennessee in this game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cleveland versus Detroit. Now this is kind of a tricky one because
It's a trap
Cleveland's defense is better than you think.
Yes.
It's their offense that's been
Their offense has been atrocious. Their rookie's actually been playing good. The guy they drafted.
Deshaun, is it Kaiser? Deshaun Kaiser?
No, not Kaiser. The defensive end for the.
Oh, Miles Garrett. I
Yes,
think that's right.
I believe that's his name.
I think that's it.
The
Miles
number
Garrett.
one pick. He's
Yeah.
actually played pretty good.
Yeah.
But they just have no offense whatsoever. I expect the defense to play really tough, but like you said, in the end, just too much Detroit.
Yeah, I think so too. I think,
And you know what?
but I don't think it's going to be.
It's not being the
feast-
running game.
It's not going to be the feast they had
Because-
last week.
They don't have a good running game, meaning Detroit.
Yeah.
It's all short passes, Golden Tate. So if you got Golden Tate, start him, obviously.
How did Sebastian wind up with Golden Tate?
That was it via trade.
Oh, okay.
That was the Deshaun Watson. I was going to say, our friend
Oh, that's
Sebastian
right. Oh, my
traded
God.
Deshaun Watson.
This is the guy that's in
And
first.
he put a voodoo on him, and then Watson got hurt after the World Series.
And you know what? And I'll tell you what. Here's the thing. Okay, I could be such a great shit talker, except for the fact that it fucks me every single time. He traded for Cam Newton, traded away to Deshaun Watson. Okay, you got Golden Tate. Okay, fine, but the idea of trading away Deshaun Watson
It was
the way-
averaging like 35 points per game.
averaging, sometimes peaking at 50 and
He had
shit.
a couple 45 games,
Yeah,
and
like-
47s.
It's unbelievable. And so I mean, I was furiously busting his balls on our text feed about like, well, he's Cam Newton, yeah. And then Deshaun Watson went down, and I have to say, I think it's my fault for opening my fucking mouth.
And it's weird because they had lost their best defensive player. Now they lose their best offensive player. Houston, look, congrats to the World Series. That's great, but hey, fantasy just is no joke, man.
Dude, I know. I tweeted that. I was like, Houston, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh
It's
away.
like, hey, congrats on your trophy, but hey.
Yeah, like, but you can't have too much.
So,
Although, they already have that.
hey, Houston's strong. Congrats to the World Series, but no, you guys are done for the year too.
But Detroit definitely wins that one walking
Mhm.
away.
And we got the Chargers.
And although Detroit, there's another sneaky streaming defensive play. because Cleveland's
They're at
offense
home,
is so
and
bad.
They're at home.
They're at home. Now, great week if they're out there, and they probably
it.
are, because you don't think of Detroit as being that kind of defense you own and play every week.
Exactly. No,
So
Detroit
they are
is,
probably.
is available.
Look, he's looking it up right now.
I'm looking it up right now.
Let me just see if that's
Detroit is available.
Yeah,
You never know.
There's strong streaming options. Jacksonville versus the Chargers. Now, this is a fairly interesting game
It's a very
because they
interesting game.
both have the potential to have big games and also suck giant donkey cocks.
I agree.
I mean, which
But
team shows up? That's the question.
Is Jacksonville at home?
Jacksonville is at home.
I like
And Leonard
Jacksonville.
Fournette is back in the game.
And my boy Leonard Fournette's back. And Jalen Ramsey is a poor man's Deion Sanders.
Mhm.
But the way he roughed up and took AJ Green, top 5 receiver in the game, out of his game last week.
Yeah.
I got to give Jacksonville the nod on this one.
Yeah, man. Really? Jacksonville? I think, you know what? You may be right.
Only because their defense
And the
is so
Chargers
vicious.
Chargers have been finding ways to lose.
They did that earlier in the year, but they're up and now they're winning one, losing one. Now they're
That's
they're
what I'm
back to
saying.
this.
Like
Yeah.
you thought it was starting to trend
Yeah.
up. Like here they go. Especially because once they went out and said, I think once we start winning, we're just going to keep winning.
Yeah.
But then, now it's turning into this up,
starting to
one
go
up,
up and
one
down.
down,
Yep,
one up, one
yep.
down.
I agree.
And so, you may be right. I would go with Jacksonville.
I
on
like
this
we
one, too.
okay,
I
so
like
we both
Jack-
agree on
we
the
agree
Jags on that. Take that Jags defense. If you have it, start them. You know what to do.
Okay. Okay. So the Jets at Tampa Bay. Now, I mean,
We were
At the
just talking
beginning
about
of the
this.
season,
Yeah, we would have said, well, whatever.
you would have said Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Now, it's got to be the Jets. And Matt Forte, and maybe even Bilal Powell, too, because Tampa Bay's been awful against the run.
And Robbie Anderson.
Yeah,
Who
Robbie
picked it for you
Anderson.
last week.
Yeah, I love Robbie
So
Anderson.
here's the thing. Robbie Anderson's trending on the fantasy wire pickup. If you need a receiver, hey, he's their number one option right now.
Dude, he's
He's
fast. And
Fast.
he's tech, and
He's good.
they're
And
lining
Safari
him up
Jenkins.
outside and
Safari
the slot.
Jenkins, the tight end.
Yeah, I've been playing him in a
They
different
just had
league.
8 sacks last week against a first-place Buffalo Bills team. You know what? I like the Jets. And Ryan Fitzpatrick's playing against his former team. He's going to throw interceptions as soon as the game starts. As soon as they do the introduction.
That is the big X factor, though.
But he's an X factor,
That
so
is
you
the
never
big
know.
X factor. He could come out and just
Only
start.
quarterback from Harvard playing, so we'll know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But see, and here's the thing. That's how you get good Fitzpatrick, is as a backup.
Yeah. Oh,
He is not good as the number one guy, lead the franchise.
He's good, like, you know how, like, Matt Moore's good, like, when somebody goes down, like, in the game, Matt
Right.
Moore kills it. But when Matt Moore started, we saw what happened.
No.
Like, 40-0.
Fitzpatrick's won games.
Yeah.
He won games
He's
when
won
he
some
came
games.
in, but then they made him the guy.
He's like, no, I'm good.
He's
I'm
like,
good. Never
I
mind.
don't like carrying the load like this. So I think this is the position where you get the best Ryan Fitzpatrick. So we'll see. But I think ultimately the Jets,
like the Jets in that
definitely win that game
Definitely.
by at least a touchdown. Okay, Green Bay at Chicago. What would have been, again, like the Denver and New England game when scheduled at the beginning of the year, you're thinking, oh boy.
Yeah, O.J. Howard, marquee players, Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah, it
Martellus
should have been,
Bennett.
yeah.
None of those guys are there no more. I like, after seeing the debacle, we both feel that Green Bay's already given up.
Yeah.
Definitely Chicago at home.
Chicago and
Not
the
even
defense. There's another defensive streaming option. Although Chicago's been pretty hot for a while, they're
Not playing
owned
that
pretty
bad.
much across in most leagues. But I mean, that play Chicago versus this terrible Green Bay offense.
Hunley is not good.
I
Not
know.
yet.
I'm not playing Jordy Nelson. I'm just not
There
going
you
to
go.
play him. Although you watch, because I'm not playing
He's
him,
gonna get all those
he will
garbage
get
points.
2 touchdowns, guaranteed. Lock it in.
So there, you heard it first. You already called it out. So.
I called it because I'm not going to play him. That's the way it goes. If I drop a guy, he has the greatest game of his life.
This is going to be an interesting game right here.
New Orleans and Buffalo.
What are your thoughts, please?
Okay, New Orleans. First of all, it's starting to get cold in Buffalo, so New Orleans isn't good outdoors to begin with.
Correct.
And then in the cold, they really lock up. And so, despite the fact they've been very hot now, this guy Kamara, he may be the guy that like changes that for them.
Sebastian has him too, and Kareem Hunt. How did we
Yeah.
let that happen? That's our fault.
It is. Listen, the kid he drafted very well. You know, a lot of the season is won and lost at the very first day. But New Orleans, yeah, I mean they've been hot.
Their
But-
defense, and Sebastian has their defense
Their
too.
defense has been
Their
very
defense has
good.
been playing good, very opportunistic. But I agree with you. Cold weather, Buffalo.
It gives Buffalo a real
It's
fight. Yes,
different.
and now here's the other thing. They have Kelvin
Benjamin,
which
who's already had a week of practice.
but it's 1 week. And that is not enough for
For a
a
receiver.
chemistry
I
between the
agree.
receiver and the quarterback. It takes weeks. It takes a whole season.
He needs
You
training
know,
now.
right?
needs
So
training.
without any of that, I think I have to play him in one league, but I mean, it's hard to expect him to actually
have a breakout already.
which I think may hurt them because I think that there's going to be a lot of missed throws to him this week, and that I think is going to play into New Orleans' favor.
And is Charles Clay?
He's supposed to be back.
Okay, so
this is the week.
I mean, if he's healthy, I really like Buffalo in this game. But if he's kind of 50%, I don't know.
They're like he's on track. It should happen. I don't know. Very limited practices.
We'll see. Okay.
All right. Pittsburgh and Indianapolis. Yeah, man, I picked up Pittsburgh's defense. This is the defense that I was like, I gotta play them. I was like, I'm sticking with Seattle, and I wanted to pick up Danny Woodhead because he's supposed to be coming back. Like in the next week or two. So I thought, well, if I'm going to go and play the Seattle defense, then I can pick up Danny Woodhead and drop Pittsburgh.
I agree. Pittsburgh on the road, and they got a week off. They've had a bye. They're just coming off their bye. It's not even close.
Right? No, Pittsburgh should rock 'em, sock 'em, robots.
This is one of those games.
And you know who's going to be big? I'll tell you who's going to be big. Juju Smith-Schuster. This kid's a fucking lightning bolt.
The receiver from USC has been putting up some nice numbers.
He reminds me of when Tyreek Hill started breaking out last year.
He might be this year's Tyreek.
Yeah.
He's actually a great player. If you guys get a chance to get him, get him. The guy I'm playing this week has him, but it's not going to matter. I'm still going to smoke him anyways.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing is I don't think he'll get as many opportunities. I think they are, because of the whole Martavis Bryant thing, I feel like it might be one of those squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of things.
Maybe, yeah, because Martavis Bryant been in that doghouse. He's trying to get out.
Right. And so I could actually see them throwing like 4 deep balls to Martavis and him catching 2 of them and taking at least one to the house.
You know what? I can see that happening because you're right. They've had a week.
Squeaky wheel.
Squeaky wheel.
And they're
so
like.
We liked it.
Pittsburgh's going to fucking
We're pretty much agreeing on all these picks.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
Great. All right.
Okay, so then Minnesota, Washington. Minnesota to Washington.
Oh, man. Washington's at home. It's weird because Washington wins those games that they shouldn't.
Right.
Like last week, I did not see that coming. A game-winning drive at the 12th.
Yeah.
The 12th man, whatever. I didn't see that coming. And, man, it was impressive.
It was. That's the thing. This guy, Kirk Cousins, he's a real general on the field.
You know what? That being said, I do like Washington in this game. I know Minnesota has an amazing defense, but your quarterback situation is still not all
totally. It's still kind of a mess.
Because
what's his name? He's a good backup.
And Keenan, we trust? No.
Yeah, no.
He's a good Bradford's the backup this week.
Yeah.
Right? Not Bradford.
Bridgewater. Bridgewater, right.
Because Bradford's out for the year again.
Right.
So,
dude, it's so funny at the beginning when he started hot. There were people like, "Hey, should I trade this guy to get Bradford?" And all this. And I was like, "No."
Injury prone.
That's his favorite play.
Yeah.
Is getting injured
and getting paid. Getting paid those $1 million to get injured.
Okay, Houston at the Rams. I think that's an obvious Rams blowout.
This is gonna be a blowout city.
Yeah, because again, this is one of those teams where they have a great defense, but they seem to be kind of giving up. Because they're just not the same without Deshaun Watson.
I agree. And then the Rams, I mean, the Rams, they already had a good defense. The fact that they're leading the league in points per game.
Yeah. No, this defense is one of those ones that they had the talent. Mm-hmm. They didn't have the organization.
And they didn't have the offense to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They didn't have the coaching to make it work.
Hands down, easily coach of the year, Sean McVay, whatever his name is. So easy right now.
Right now.
It's early.
Yeah, maybe, but we'll see.
It's still a lot of games. He is.
He might be.
Right now, mid-season awards.
Yeah,
definitely.
Who else? I mean, Peterson out of the Philadelphia Eagles.
That's a great pick too.
That would be the only other guy.
Both of those guys are obviously mid-season awards. I'd say coach of the year. I'd give it to the Rams because nobody saw this coming. At least the Rams, a talent. You have a franchise.
People didn't see it coming quite this much out of the Eagles, but you're right. They didn't see this coming.
But Carson Wentz already had promise.
Yeah. No, nobody saw. I thought Jared Goff was gonna. This would be the end of Jared Goff. We'd see that it was finally a complete bust, and then instead
he's probably make the Pro Bowl this year.
He's going to make the Pro Bowl. He looks great.
I give props to the Rams. Who's your MVP at the middle?
Goff is one of those guys that was on the waiver wire for weeks. Because everyone was just waiting for it to disappear,
and it hasn't disappeared.
And it didn't. It just got stronger. And now whoever finally jumped on him first, who has him in our league? Oh, you got him. Yeah, and now he's balling.
So here's the thing.
Are you playing him?
Yeah, he played him last week.
Fuck you, man.
Who was your midseason MVP, by the way?
Wentz.
No, midseason. I think you still have to go with Kareem Hunt at that point.
Yeah, that's a good pick too. Yeah,
at that point,
yeah.
he'd only had like one non-amazing game at 8. Now 8, 9, 10, he's had a couple of bad games.
To me, it had to be wins because he's been consistent.
Yeah, he's been pretty dynamite.
He's pretty been dynamite, but I don't have a problem with the Kareem Hunt pick because, man.
But he's slowing down. I think people have kind of defenses have figured him out. They're like, hey, all you got to do is stuff him and force him to try and throw the ball.
Next game, well, this next game pretty much explains. This is the game we're on, and the first pick of the 2018 draft. Who do you like in this game?
Really, the loser is the winner.
Yeah. So who do you like in this game?
So they'll literally be playing to lose
for notches.
Yeah.
On the draft board.
That's right.
We're talking about the pathetic Giants and the pathetic 49ers. Well, I mean, is there anybody that's trend worthy on either team?
No. I mean, Carlos Hyde, he started out hot.
He actually leads the team of receptors.
Yeah. But exactly. He's the whole team right now. They lost Pierre Garçon.
And there's no Garoppolo playing, right?
I don't think they're playing him yet.
It's kind of weird. You get an awesome quarterback, you don't want to play him. I've never heard that logic.
Well, I think they want to at least learn the playbook first. Yeah, they keep playing this Breathard guy who they drafted. Yeah. I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing.
So, but this might be a tie.
That would be awesome. It might end.
It might be a tie. It might be. You're
going to see kickers like purposely just shooting them to the side.
This might be a tie, you guys.
So the coaches will be like, if you put that ball through the fucking uprights, you are fired, motherfucker. We want to lose this game today.
So we don't really care about this game, but what's the next game?
Miami at Carolina.
Oh man, you talk about a must-win for. I guess Miami. Carolina's, what are they, 5-3?
Carolina's, they're 6-3. Miami's somehow.
They're like the worst,
4-4
team
and
in
they're
history.
garbage.
They're garbage. Averaging, I believe, 14 points a game. Awful. It's terrible. I don't know.
Traded away Ajayi, which I'm glad about. As someone who owned it. That was another player I had last week I could have beaten him with. But I was afraid Ajayi wouldn't. You get like 1 or 2 plays.
He played a lot. He
ended up fucking having like 13, 14 points, scored a touchdown. But oh my God.
Obviously, you were going to start Ajayi this week.
He's out. Yeah, that's another great thing about being an Ajayi over 2 bye weeks.
Great.
What luck.
So here's the thing. This game, I have a couple players playing. I don't know if I'm going to start both the receivers. Landry for sure I'm going to start. I don't know, man, because Cutler. He could. I mean, he had 3 touchdowns last week.
Listen, he's been
Julius Thomas was hot last.
Julius Thomas.
Remember, like Jerry and I were talking about. Oh my God, this guy had a turn back the clock from Denver. Remember Denver?
And I'm wondering if that's a going forward thing.
I don't know. What do you think, Jerry?
It looked like.
I'm sorry. Julius Thomas.
Nah, one game. It's a 1 game.
You think it's a 1 game thing?
Because we think. Oh, remember when Peyton Manning was getting 14 touchdowns a year?
I wouldn't buy into that too.
I wouldn't buy into that.
He just lost a step, bro, too.
Yeah.
He was getting the rock last week though, a lot.
Dude, he's got a lot of looks.
So I don't know, man. Okay, I have McCaffrey.
I'm gonna trust him.
I have McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And
his value keeps going up because they got to pick Kevin Beltran.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like Carolina in this game. They're at home.
I think so too. They're at home.
Close.
Miami has been struggling so hard. I don't know how they've actually got 4 wins.
Nobody knows how they got those 4 wins.
It's ridiculous. They just met a team that wanted it less. But Carolina, I think this is actually Miami's kind of tough on the run, so it's going to be another one of negative 1.5 days for number 1.
Oh, he's a number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were just saying that Devin Funchess is a number 1 now.
Yeah, and he was already starting to get a lot
Curtis
of
Samuel is it like a 2
Yeah, Curtis Samuel is now the 2.
So they're trying to get him the rock.
Yeah,
okay.
So but I mean, it's great for Devin Funchess owners. So, which I think, you have an island?
So Jerry has him, so maybe Jerry will. You didn't start him last week, did you?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Maybe I didn't, but I think I did.
Devin Funchess, he's getting the looks, and he will continue to do so.
I agree.
The problem there is that Cam Newton is not a good quarterback. He's an athletic quarterback. But he doesn't throw a good football.
He loves running that rock himself.
Yeah,
so
he sure does.
Which
is fine. I mean, if that helps you win games, you're 6-3.
Yeah.
So you can't argue with that. You can't argue with success.
And their defense is stout too. Their defense is nice.
Well, they're playing better because they want to support that offense.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I mean,
Kuechly's playing.
When you have a receiver dependent on Cam Newton, it's difficult because he has really bad throwing days.
He sure does.
And he doesn't have great throwing days. He has good throwing days or fucking horrible.
I agree, man. We're just like, where'd you throw that?
Totally, dude. Fucking ducks waffling all over the fucking field. You're just like, how did you become an NFL quarterback?
But it is his athletic
But
ability
is
that
that,
keeps him
yes,
afloat.
absolutely, because he'll get you the first down, he'll get you a touchdown, he'll do what he has to do to win the game, and it's right now it's working. And that Greg Olson, that's another guy. Did I pick him up in our league, or was that in a different league?
I think Greg Olson's still floating around in our league because he has been on IR.
Right, but he's coming back, and so like this would be the week to pick him up because he's going to be back. I think not maybe next week or the week after. And yeah. Did I get him now? Who has him in our
So
league?
it
Someone
wasn't
else.
season ending for him, right?
No, he's
Okay.
back, and when he goes back, because there's no Kelvin Benjamin, you would definitely expect him to ball out.
And I had Greg Olson the previous 2 years, and it's always been reliable. So you never know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Because who's the other guy? Dixon.
Dixon, yeah, a lot of
He's been
people
up
played Dixon last week,
Yeah.
thinking that he would be mathematically. He's got to get some. But
Something.
he pulled up a Blutarski.
Yeah.
0 points.
0 points.
Zero.
0.0. So you said some of these guys, remember, don't fall in love. And we always tell everybody, you've told me, Jerry, don't ever fall in love with a guy. Remember, who's that guy, McKissick? Remember?
Oh yeah.
Where have you been now? Like, remember, everybody go, oh my God, McKissick.
Well, Seattle refuses to let anybody be. Listen, I still think he's
Seattle
got the
doesn't
most-
like running backs.
They don't. They haven't liked anybody since Marshawn Lynch.
It's so true, man.
And then they were like, no, but we're done with you now. So it was that. So it's
Who's
pretty-
their? Because their running back is who? Lacey, Rawls.
Well, now Lacey has a
McKissick.
big ankle problem again.
Well, surprise.
Yeah, so I don't know if he's playing
No, he's
anymore.
out.
He's done
He's
for
out?
the season,
I don't know about
or at least
season,
this
he's out.
week.
Yeah.
Either way, he sucked.
Eddie Lacy's terrible.
And I gotta tell you, Eddie, I fucking believed in you. You fucking
Everybody did.
sucker, and you disappointed the fuck out of me.
Everybody was drinking that Eddie Lacy
Yeah,
Kool-Aid.
boy, he just he
Man.
fucking ugh,
It went real sour.
so bad. Pretty good, guys.
Very good. This is very
Very quick,
fun.
who do you start? Tyreek Cohen or Jack Doyle?
Jack Doyle.
Jack Doyle is the Colts offense.
Totally, he's got the volume.
They're
Tariq
a
Cohen,
tough matchup though.
Tariq Cohen, you don't know when he's going to go in the game for how long.
The
So
only
It's
reason-
a matchup that I don't like.
That's a tough match because I like those
Jags.
linebackers, Shabazz, or the linebacker Shazier
Oh
for,
yeah,
for Pittsburgh.
For Pittsburgh.
He's really good at defending the tight ends.
I know.
That's a
but-
tough one. That's a tough one, Jerry.
But Jacoby Brissett and him have chemistry.
Do have chemistry.
And they're the only him and T.Y. Hilton. I mean, he's developed, and that's the other thing. This is the other reason I put the Pittsburgh defense back on the shelf because that number one rating is based on the whole season. But I think what we saw starting last week was they're starting. Jacoby Brissett is playing better.
Yeah, he's getting confidence.
He
Even
is.
in losses, the guy looks
I
not
mean,
bad.
he got the ball to T.Y. Hilton all day and all night.
Yeah,
175 yards. And
Doyle's
Doyle,
smooth,
he
man.
put him like over 100. So 100 yards receiving. So, I mean, I feel like now, while on paper, it looks like Pittsburgh should get a bunch of defensive points.
Mhm.
I don't know that they are because I think maybe this Jacoby Brissett, and they're in Indianapolis. So, I mean, they won last week, so they got the taste of victory in their mouth. I think they don't win, but I think it's a closer game than people are going to expect right now.
I agree. I mean, that's just the kind of game where you're just like, okay, let's see what happens here. But Pittsburgh's gonna win, but don't be surprised if the Colts just hang in the game.
Yeah.
Like you said, Brissett.
That's what I'm saying. I
I'm really
can see
impressed
him
with this. The guy has a lot
putting
of.
up 21,
He has
24
decent talent,
points
and he
on
has what's that thing called moxie. I mean, the guy's just
Yeah.
a gamer. Just a gamer.
He is. He's got, and he's athletic. He has skills, and I actually he throws a pretty decent ball.
Tom Brady, bro. You gotta
Yeah.
respect that shit too.
Yeah, he is an understudy of Tom Brady.
That's
Correct. So,
So
but not all the understudies of Tom Brady have been good.
no,
but
that's true.
but
A
he's
lot,
not
of times,
bad.
a lot of times they're a product of the system. We've seen it before with Matt Castle. We've
Oh,
seen
yeah.
it with Brian Hoyer.
Yeah.
So we've seen this before where guys turn out to be just a product of the system.
Okay.
So, but Jacoby Brissett, because he's had the whole season, has actually warmed up into his position
I think-
and gotten the chemistry down with those guys on the field.
And I think you'll agree to this. I think Colts knew that Andrew Luck wasn't going to play, so they just rolled the dice on Brissett. They just kept on delaying the news. But, even the owner came out this week saying it's all in Andrew Luck's head. Now, that's not a vote of confidence when the owner of the team says, your franchise quarterback says it's all in his own head. So, I don't know
Yeah,
what the
but
future
Jim
holds.
Irsay is such a tool.
he's a piece of work.
No
What
one's serious, dude.
He's
Yeah.
such a fucking
He's always
piece of
laughing
shit.
shit.
God, it's like shut up, dude. But some guys, people probably say that about Jerry Jones too. But I feel like Jerry Jones is much more defensive of his players.
Yeah.
Whereas
and he's-
Irsay will throw
and he's more
he don't
respected.
throw his coaches under the bus, his players. He don't give a fuck.
He'll throw the cheerleaders on the bus. Okay?
How has he not been convicted of sexual harassment?
Jerry Jones is a pioneer and is like I said, he looked up to Al Davis and he's now he's doing some Al Davis stuff and now he's trying to go against the commissioner. I mean, you gotta respect Jerry Jones, man. The guy is just a great businessman. I love Jerry Jones, man.
Okay, and now in closing, Thank you very much for listening. Be sure and follow Twitter. Give me your handles.
Oh,
Manny
I'm
Maldonado.
at Manny Maldonado on Twitter and Manny to the max, the number 2 on Instagram. So follow me.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
And of course, I'll be posting this on. It's going up to YouTube as we speak.
Yeah.
And that will be up, and I'll put out the link to the audio podcast. And you could tweet me at the Greg Wilson. And so we're here live at the Stratosphere Casino. You are down at the Tropicana.
Yeah, we're at
Laugh
Tropicana,
Factory.
and everybody, look, this is the last 3 weeks of regular season, and the playoffs come. So this, make your decisions smart and wise.
Yeah, this has been great. Oh, and finally, one last opinion. What do you think? Should I shave my mustache? How terrible is it?
I mean, you're keeping it because you're in character,
Yeah,
right? So it's different. It's for work.
it is for work.
I'm used to seeing you without it.
Yeah,
So yeah, so it's done. Let's get rid of it.
Yeah.
I should probably let it go, right?
No,
I was-
well, until maybe till the Christmas parties, and then we cut it off.
Well, because here's the thing. I feel like everything.
I don't want to take a holiday picture with you like this. Hello,
I know.
I'm the
like,
porn star that never made it.
but
I don't want to see that. You know what I mean?
I may shave it off tonight. I'm like,
No, rock it maybe just for the rest of the week of your shows out here.
No, I think I may let it go.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Fantasy football.
Thank
Oh,
you so much,
shit,
man.
Nick.
One love. That was fun, man.
That was hella fun, man. You guys were great, bro.
Great.
You guys were fucking on point, dog.
Yeah?
Loved it, yeah.
Cool, man.
Thanks,
It
man.
was fun, dude.